Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, you're always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. It's the ambassador of joy. And you tuned in consciously to this show because you know we discuss amazing ideas with fabulous people because that's the essence, that's the whole vibe of Las Vegas. Now, you go anywhere in the world, anywhere, and you say the two words, Las Vegas, people's eyes open and say, oh, yeah, I've heard of that. And many people have been here. Just to give you a point of data point, if you take the entire population of the city of New York and all its environs, the entire population of Chicago and everything around it, and the entire population of Los Angeles and everything around it, it doesn't add up to the number of people that come to Las Vegas in 1 year. 41 million people come here through 2-4 because it's a place of energy. It's a place of forward thinking. It's a place of what we'll call the future is now. And I'm stealing that line. I'm using that line from our amazing guest who I'm so happy that he's here with us today. He's in Singapore. We're in Las Vegas. And please welcome 501,822 people around the world. Welcome to Kevin Chung. Kevin!
What's up, Barry?
500 plus thousand people around the world.
Hello, hello. Hey, that intro reel threw me back to last week when we were in Vegas together. It almost felt like I was just right there.
Thank you. Thank you. The energy, it was, look, we met at CES, Consumer Electronics Show. And it's funny because I've been going to the show for oh my gosh, more than 2 decades. And it used to be what we'll call consumer electronics. It still is. However, the theme this year, and of course it's going to continue, is that what's behind you, the future is now. And the future, everybody knows, the 2 words everybody talks about is AI. So if I started telling everybody the CV of Kevin, it would take the rest of the show. I'm going to give you 3 data points only. Kevin, born and raised in Berkeley, California, in the San Francisco area, Bay Area. And he went to University of California, Berkeley. And he is deeply involved in one of the great countries that's leading the charge. It's, the name of the company is called Writer. That's right, WRITER. And I'm going to use English to tell you what it's about, but I'm going to mention one other thing. Kevin and his wife and his son have decided to live in 2 cities, although they're going to make their main residence in Singapore. And Singapore is it's a city-state. It's not a city. It's a place unto itself. It's a whole culture. It's wonderful. And we have, thank God, people listening from all over the world. A lot of Singaporeans listen to the podcast. So I'm just going to tell everybody what you do. And then what I'm going to ask you to do, Kevin, is to explain it in English. So I'm going to use English to say it. Here's what Writer does. This is what it says. Writer, you basically are involved with a full stack generative AI platform for enterprises. Now, every word I said is English, and I must tell you, please explain what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you did a great job, Barry. Thanks you can be our elevator pitch man for these meetings. So AI, there's a lot of stuff going on in AI, right? Like there's a lot of hype out there. There's a lot of companies being built up. And really what Writer does is we build customized AI workflows for enterprises. That's the plain and simple story, right? So when an enterprise comes to us and says, hey, we have a workflow, we want to AI augment it, we want to superpower our employees and give them, the tooling with AI-powered fuel behind it. That's what we do. And so everything that we're building for these customers is, pretty much customized because their requirements are quite different. So that, in a nutshell, is what Writer does. We span across the Fortune 500, the Global 2000. We're working with companies across industries like retail CPG, companies like L'Oreal, financial services companies like Goldman Sachs and Vanguard. And, with professional advisory firms like Accenture, we're also customers, and then large technology firms, like NVIDIA, Salesforce, Uber, et cetera. So lots of big brands that we're working with today.
Okay, so the good news is you did drop names that I was hoping you would, and it's important to understand. So here's a simple question from the host: why can't these people do it themselves? Take a company like Uber. They're advanced in technology and such. Why can't they just say in their own world, hey, we have so many thousand people, we're smart, we know what we're doing. Why can't they do? Why do they need writer, or why do they need what does your system bring that makes it, I'm going to presume, ready, faster, better, cheaper?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The differentiation, and this, what you just said resonates with me, both because I've been on the inside of companies who've been on the same cutting edge of this, like, should we build it ourselves? And also just this is my fifth digital transformation. So like I've seen this before. I almost akin this to the question of, would you ever build your own, search engine internally? Would you build your own CRM? Would you build your own cloud storage, right? Why would you do that, right? There's so much work that's required. Unless you want to pivot your company to become an AI company, meaning like you want to actually hire AI engineers, AI program managers, and all that stuff and build this stack. It's probably spend 6 to 12 months, probably spend tens of millions of dollars to build out that architecture. And imagine every company wants to do that, and you want to pivot your resources to do that. There are companies that want to do that, right? Our position on this is we've built the architecture already. We've spent 10 years of development on the technology, and we've sort of stitched it together. We've battle tested it. It's been proven with hundreds of customers. It's been proven with tens of thousands of in production use cases. So when you look at it from that standpoint, it almost looks at it as like a no-brainer to be like, yeah, you want to work with the best of the best. Now, look, companies may still want to go build because they want to be close to the technology and do all those things. That's totally fine. We have customers that do both, where they are trying to build, but ultimately what we often find is they find how difficult it is, and then they sort of come to us and say, hey, we've been trying this ourselves. We've gotten 6 months in and we've got one use case. Help us scale. We've got some customers who are using hundreds to 200s of use cases, and they can do that within months. So that's the difference, right? Like the faster, better, cheaper is really like the tagline, if you want to say it, in terms of how you would look at it. But it's really just actually more efficient. I saw something recently that said the latest GPT model uses more electricity than Pittsburgh. Like will require more electricity than Pittsburgh to run the model, right? Like that's incredibly insane. Like how resource intensive, not only from compute, but just like also people that's required. And so that's the difference, Barry. That's the differentiation. It's like you want to work with the best, and you want to work with a team that actually lives day in and day out on this technology. When I worked at a company that tried to build their own internal solutions, like you have to go build a whole team around that. And like, are you willing to basically bet your company on that? And that's the big existential question that a lot of companies have to face right now.
And the best news, let's unpack a couple of things here. One of the name of the company that Kevin is the CSO, Chief Strategy Officer, is Writer, WRITER. Everybody should look it up just because you'll get an education. You'll learn a lot. It doesn't matter, even if you're not in that world and you're not running a huge company. The issue that's always been in front of people whenever technology moves is, what is your core competency? What is your core business? Like L'Oreal, we're in the, how should we call it? I don't want to even call it skincare business, but we're in the relationship with customer business. If we said, well, we also want to do AI, why would you do that? In other words, smart business people always face, should we build it or buy it? Well, in this case, it sort of doesn't even make sense to think of building it because A, things are moving so quickly. You do have a decade already in. And when it comes down to it, if you focus on your core and build your business, it pays for it many times over. Am I right?
Agreed. Don't get distracted is what we tell customers. Don't get distracted on the stuff. Let us handle the stuff that we're good at. And you go focus on the stuff that you're good at, which is selling products to your customers, selling services to your customers, and this and that, right? I mean, that's what really it should be.
It's interesting because there's a great book that I've read recently, and I'll mention it here because I found it to be very powerful, and it's called Be Indistractable.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a great book, and it talks about specifically that because the world is so filled with shiny objects that it's easy, very easy for the biggest and the smartest to go off their track. So let's go back now to what you're talking about, building workflows. Okay, for people who are not used to again, most of the audience, they're interested in all this. They don't know, what does it mean to build workflows? Can you give us a concrete example?
Absolutely. So when I talked about giving your employees superpowers, I'm going to give you a very simple example, and then I'm going to start to move up the chain to something that's super complex. So the first might be, look, you need to write a blog post, maybe a few dozen blog posts about new content that either you're releasing or something that's happening in the market. And usually it takes somebody a few hours to put together a draft. Then it takes a few hours for people to review it. And then it takes a bunch of approvals. And usually by the time you're done, it's about a week, right?
Right.
Imagine that you could have a first draft of that content that's written in your voice, right? That matches the style of your company, that meets all of the legal and compliance guidelines of your organization. And you can have that in a second, right? And it's actually matching it against previous content that you've written. So it can match, functional style, structure, and all those things. That's a very simple example of what AI can do, right? It can help you, create that content very quickly. Right. Let's move up a little bit more complex use case, right? Imagine you're in the insurance industry. You're managing 10,000 claims a day, insurance claims. You have to look at policies, see if the medical care that somebody has been given should, be covered. Now AI can actually download all the information from a benefits manager, put that into the AI application and workflow, all the instructions on how you would decide whether you would approve or disapprove a claim. And now you can run all of those 10,000 claims through AI and basically come up with, approve or disapprove, right? So instead of having a person review that and go through a backlog that might take you weeks, you're done in a few minutes, right? And so AI can do that. Now, let me give an even more interesting use case, which we call retail digital shelf. So when you create a new product or launch a new product, you have to write product descriptions. You probably have to write all the marketing copy that's going to go on Instagram. You have to write all the copy that would go on your first party sites, but maybe you're selling on Amazon, maybe you're selling on, Walmart, and they will have different brand and structural requirements. And not only that, you have to write all the internal FAQs, the external FAQs. You have to write all this content before you can launch a product. You probably have to go hire an agency. That might take 6 months to launch a product. But look, you just want to get this product out there so you can sell it. Now we've created this digital shelf product that can, with even just like a PowerPoint presentation of what this product is, or even a one-pager of what the product is, create all of the collateral needed to launch a product, right? Product descriptions, multiple variations for different sites, all the ads for it, marketing copy, internal FAQs, executive summaries, what have you. You can say, I need 10 derivatives, I need 100 derivatives. Whatever you want, AI can help you do that. And so now you've condensed a 6-month launch timeline to maybe a week. So now you can get that product out there and now you can start selling it immediately, right? And everything can be done on brand, right? So like a company was like, hey, we have to use these types of words. We have to use this structure. This is the way we want to represent it to this audience. All of that can match. And so it's really an effective, when I talk about, this is truly a superpower tool, right? Like it's giving people the ability to do these things at scale, but not only that, consistently, better, faster, cheaper.
Oh, this is what I love. Consistently, better, faster, so you can maximize your core business. Now, on that high note, don't go away. We have sponsors that love us. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time. We'll be right back with more Kevin. Don't go away. Sit on the edge of your chair because this is the Wild West in all its glory. Be right back after this brief message.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Kevin. He's in Singapore at the moment. He travels the world because the world is their oyster. He works for an amazing company that, as the sign behind him says, if you're not watching this, I'll tell you what it says. The future is now. And it's so wonderful to be in the now and to know what's going on. All you have to do is add a K to the word now, and then you know. Right. And that's what you and then if you put the K at the other end, then you were like, Kevin, you're a data wonk. That's what you are. You're a data wonk, Kevin. And we're so happy that you're here. Thank you. So we left our intrepid heroes with understanding that companies can now do what they need to do to focus on their core competency and the other pieces of their business, which, by the way, have always been a distraction. They thought they were part of their core competency because they were necessary, like you said, insurance claims and filtering things. Those are issues that were always on the periphery, because really what the company wants to do is focus on how much can we deliver to our customer experience. We want to focus our energies. Now, other people call that selling product. I don't. I call that, how do you relate to your customer in the most intimate way? Is that correct?
Correct. I mean, and you're spot on. I mean, every customer that comes to us is like, I have a problem. I have this process. It's way too manual. It takes me away from the customer. And many of these use cases that they're building are how to customize for customers. They don't want to create stuff that's generic. They want to create stuff that's customized, that hits to the heart of their customer, right? They don't want to send out that generic email. They don't want to send out that, generic Instagram post. They don't want to create content that doesn't make sense, that a customer has to go and search for it. They want it to be accurate, right? They want it to be very, very consistent to what that particular customer in that region, in that market, in that demographic is looking for, right? That's what it's all about, really.
So wait a minute. Are you telling me, one-to-one, Kevin DeBarry, I have, thank God, 1.3 million users of my particular situation, let's say United States at the moment, and we're growing, that these 1.3 million users are buying different products every single day, like Amazon. And with your product, with AI, with the service, we can send out the email to Kevin, because Kevin bought this fishing rod, which we know he likes now fly fishing. And there's 3 or 4 other things. Hey, by the way, Kevin, I trust you really like it. Is that you're telling me that can all be customized to the person in real time?
It can be. I mean, if you think about it, like Amazon's already been doing that. Google's already been doing that, right? Like they know your search history, they know your email. Amazon knows your buying patterns. They're already serving up these AI recommendations, right? The step further is like the way we communicate with brands, and the way we like to communicate with brands is either through seeing them, on social. Email is typically still a really powerful way. Chat, phone, etc., right? But now what you can imagine is now AI can actually augment all of those workflows and start to deliver you things that are even more specific. You still get that junk mail email or those brochures that don't make any sense, right? Like these are not things that I care about, right? So now that you can use AI augmented workflows to get things that are very customized. We have a new customer who is an automotive manufacturer. They sell multiple different brands of products, right? High end all the way to sort of your regular cars. And they want to be able to tailor their marketing materials, all the stuff that they're selling, all the communications. They want to tailor it to the market, to the type of car that the person is buying, to what they know about that person, right? In order to give them a very, very customized experience. I mean, that's really what it can do today. I mean, and that's just like, I would say that's level 1 stuff. That's like the easy stuff.
I was going to say, let's talk about what could be 3 steps now that you're even wrestling with let's not look 5-10 years, forget that, even 2 or 3 years. AI, I presume, can do everything like you said. Okay, email, it can do the same thing for video. I mean, there's no difference between, it's just communication. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's just communication. Now, look, I'll share something that's really interesting about AI that I think that need to be separated. It's AI use cases for consumers, and it's AI use cases for enterprises, right? The AI consumer use cases we see in our day-to-day life, for example, I'm going to go into ChatGPT. I'm going to ask it to give me travel recommendations on my next trip to, let's say I'm going to Japan, I would say, hey, can you tell me all the cities I need to go to, or help me create my shopping list? I want to make these types of foods. What ingredients do I need? Help me summarize my email. Those are very classic AI use cases for consumers. We can use it in our day-to-day life. In the AI enterprise use cases, it's all about the internal workflows that companies need to do to run their business. So for example, like in the claims management, as I mentioned to you, there's a whole team of benefits people that are like reviewing claims. That's their job to do that, right? How can you actually give them 99% more productivity in that workflow? AI can do that, right? It's all about fixing that so that they can spend that time that they've saved up to do other things that are more, I would say, higher impact for the organization, right? Another use case might be you're launching a new, solution, product, service to your customers. But before you can launch it, you have to be fully prepared, right? Your whole organization needs to be aware. You need to have all the FAQs so that if customers see it, they can go and look for it. That stuff takes time. Nobody really likes creating that stuff, right? So now that AI can help you do that. So if you do 100 launches a year, right, you're able to do that and consistently, right? You have a format, the same amount of deliverables. It comes out the same every single time. Obviously, you can change what the text says because the products will be different. But imagine like now you don't have to spend months of your years planning for product launches. You can just focus on the product launch itself, right? So that's the today, right? The future looks like this. There's still human in the loop is what we call it in AI, where you have to have somebody looking at it. Nobody is doing a claims review and just being like, I'm going to trust the AI to approve all these claims and not look at it. Somebody's still reviewing it, right? The future, and not too far in the future, is that people will start to get very comfortable with how the AI is making decisions, how it's rationalizing, how it's reasoning, to the point where we will actually allow it. I've even noticed this with my insurance, where I'll submit a claim and within a second, I will see that it will get approved. And I'll be like, there's no person looking at this. It's clearly that AI has tagged a few things. It's probably with lower than a certain limit. And they're like, hey, I'm going to approve it because it's not worth my time to have somebody look at it, right? You can take that a step further if you can think about not only just in claims, but everything, where it's like, okay, imagine this use case, Barry. You are preparing for a huge podcast. You need to do all of the research on the person you're going to talk to. You want to get a research on the industry. You want to understand a little bit of how it connects to sort of the broader picture of things that are going on. Imagine you, Barry, as the company, being able to have the research notes on the person you're talking to, the company, all the industry insights, all the competitors about that company, all written to you in like a one-page brief, right? So you can have that done today with AI. Now, the next step, if you can imagine this, we're recording this podcast. Now you're going to publish it afterwards. Maybe you want to do some editing to it, right? Maybe you want to add some nice graphics. The workflow of AI in the future would look like this. You won't need to do any of those steps, right? Like you could have AI, you could literally write in a prompt. I'm going to do an interview with Kevin. I need the research notes. I need all the talking points. I need the questions. I need the intro graphic. I need the middle graphic. I need the end graphic. I need you to edit this for consistency. I need it to be less than 28 minutes. Go do all that for me, right? Literally just write one line, right? And you ask me to do it. And I want you to publish it on this date, right? No longer do you have to go into multiple tools to do that. That's where AI is going. We're going to actually achieve that this year in the ecosystem of AI, right? Like that is the stuff that can happen.
Okay, so let's ask you the question that is in my heart, and I hope on the minds of hundreds of thousands of my listeners, because most of my people are entrepreneurs and under the age of 30. So for them, they're conversant in all this. However, you build for enterprise. When does this get to the solopreneur, as it were?
Yeah. I mean, look, there's so many solutions out there. Like Writer, as we focus on the enterprise, our solution is available to anybody. You can go to the website and sort of start using it and customize it the way you need to customize it. So anybody has access to the tool, but there's also plenty of amazing tools out there for different use cases as well. Look, we solve a very large number of use cases for a number of industries. Like, so what I would advise everybody is to keep an open eye on what's out there, right? Look at your particular use case this year alone, I would imagine there will be tens of thousands of AI companies out there that will be created. Right. So a big part of it is actually just looking at, just like anything, you want to evaluate what solution works best for you, try things out. But what I will tell you, as I've seen multiple digital transformation shifts. So I was on the ground before, digital payments happened. So I was working on the launch team for digital payments. Do you remember the days when we used to pay with cash? Right.
Right. By the way, I want to make a point. You are living in Singapore, one of the most advanced places on earth when it comes to what we'll call transactions.
Correct.
Am I correct on that?
Yes. You can use your phone to get into the subway, to pay for goods at the hawker centers, all the way to the high-end luxury goods stores, right? The bus is the same thing. Like I can use just my watch to pay for everything, right? So everything is connected, which is amazing, right? And that's the world.
It really is. By the way, even you're amazed, Kevin, and you live this.
I'm amazed. Yes,
right.
I'm even amazed, right? So we're AI is taking us there, right? AI is going to take us to this place where our personal lives on the consumer side will definitely get transformed. On the business side, I even see a bigger transformation because there are so many legacy processes that are so manual, right?
Yes.
It's like paper pushing. I'm going to push this paper to that side,
right?
And you've got lots of people doing that. We're going to change that paradigm and that dynamic as an ecosystem with AI. So the future will be, and the future is now, right? Obviously, like it's transforming as we speak. So now people are like, wow, I have more time. Now I can go focus on the higher impact stuff.
This is what we call, and what you practice, out of the box thinking and action. By the way, during the commercial, I came up with an acronym for your name. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would.
Kevin, Kevin, keeping enthusiasm vibrating, increasing nobility.
I love it. Every year I want a new nickname. Last year, I was coined the nickname by Anthony Anderson, who I'd met at Cannes, Singapore Kev. But now I like this new acronym for Kevin. So I'm going to run with that one.
I'm going to send it to you after we speak. This is so fabulous. I'm actually loath to say the words I'm about to tell you, which are, we're coming to a close of our time together in this session. Wonderful, Kevin. I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Yeah. Yes, let's do it.
Number 1, will you come back again?
To see yes?
Yeah, no, to me.
Or to the podcast?
Yeah.
Both yes.
Okay. Thank you. Number 2, Kevin, and I want you to answer this in light of the fact that you're moved with your wife and your 8-year-old son to Singapore. What is your most fervent desire?
I would say I would love to see like my son's generation as he grows up to have a better world than the one we're living in right now.
And you're making that, you believe that what you're working on will be a contributor to that.
I think it'll be a contributor to that, where, people can be more joyful in the work that they're doing.
Thank you. And number 3 question, may I give you a hug in front of 508,912 people around the world?
Absolutely, Barry.
Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And you're listening to Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shaw, our amazing guest, Kevin Chung. And it's so wonderful that you're here. We urge you, share this with 5 people. You want to do 50 or 100, that's up to you, but at least 5 people. That way we can touch millions of people around the planet, because we're doing what Kevin wants and his fervent desire. It's a new generation, and we're bringing about a benefit for everybody. Peace is at our fingertips. AI, I believe, can be a contributor to that peace. So I'm going to give a blessing coming from Kevin and Barry. And the blessing is, go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Kevin, don't go away.